Hi there guys, it's Dan here from Trading College with your weekly market update. Just looking here at the Dow Jones. We discussed last week about a potential for a bit of a reversal where we've been red, we've been short, and we had quite a harsh rally pushing up, and we had a bit of a trend line here, and this week we quite early on here we have not turned green on the PTS. We are red, and we have one of our trend predictor candles. We're just pushing up into this resistance of the trend line, resistance of the moving averages. And if we look at that sort of on the daily chart here, we've just sort of kind of failed to, we have turned green. We're just a little bit stuck in between moving averages. So we're just waiting to see what happens. I mean, really, for a longer term trade, we need to wait for red PTS to see if this resolves. We are kind of stuck really in what we would class as kind of a crocodile jaw sort of setup, which is stuck in between these moving averages. We're just waiting to see what's sort of happened. We hit kind of a round number with 34,900 and sold off yesterday, and now we're seeing if this is going to follow through. I mean, with the weekly here, quite often if we're looking for things to begin weekly, as a short, then we might go down to a 4-hour chart here, and we're losing momentum on the 4 hours and starting to get maybe one of our momentum triggers. So watching this, it's turned red. Does this follow through and push down and break all these moving averages, below 34,000? I think then indices are in trouble again, and we may well push on to the lows. Certainly that's what we're looking for here in Trading College, but we're flexible. If the sell-off kind of stalls at this trend line, and we do push beyond and we continue to be green, then we could see some more long side. So really kind of next few days is decision time. It's really going to be up for debate right now as to which direction this market goes in. So for those of you who are trading the indices, it may be a time to just stand aside, wait for something certain, wait for something solid, continuation of the higher highs and higher lows, or in this scenario, continuation of the new low here. Do we have a lower high and then we go for a lower low, in and around below 34,000? So it is up a little bit for conjecture as to where we go next. Generally, when we get this kind of pattern on our storyteller, we know there's a big move coming. Look at it here. Flat storyteller led to this big rally. Flat storyteller here led to this big sell-off. So we're expecting a big move in the next few days or so. That's the Dow Jones. I think that's kind of going to be very similar for a lot of the other indices. We'll take a quick glance at the DAX here. The DAX is a little bit more mature on this 4 hours. Again, just holding up in these sort of crocodile jaws of the moving averages, but the moving averages are pairing together, and generally when they pair together, a bit like this here, where you see moving averages getting close. If I just pull out there a little bit, where they get close together, we tend to get a big directional move, whether that's short here like it was then, or whether it's long and we rally. So interesting time to be trading these indices. We could see some downside quite violently if we can push through this support, and that's really where I am with the indices. We discussed as well some of these kind of yen pairs last week, and we've not had any kind of reversal in the yen pairs. They've just been so bullish and long, but now I would argue they're probably just a little bit extended here, and we could see certainly a pullback in the next few days, just back down to maybe the support of the moving averages. you know, they have made a lovely move up and this is the sort of euro yen. Euro was very oversold, and so we pushed up quite nicely. You know, target really is still 13,414, but you know, do I really want to kind of buy here right now? You know, maybe want to just get a bit of a better price. We do have momentum trigger here on the weekly chart, so potentially we've got more upside into 13,600 zone on the euro yen and all the other yen pairs. You know, similarly, I think it really depends here on you know, on how indices happen. I think if indices do sell off, we might have a bit of a flight to safety in the yen pairs, and we might see these markets just come down a little bit in the yen. But here, CAD yen very extended now. We do see a bit of a sort of loss of momentum divergence in our storyteller, and you know, if we do get up to this kind of zone, this 9766, you know, we could see a decent size sort of pullback, just because we're losing momentum as the market goes up. It's quite separated from the moving averages as well, but really it's green, it's PTS, so you know, any pullbacks like that could be future buying opportunities. We then, I think we discussed crude oil last week, and just looking at crude oil as well. Crude, you know, just looks long and strong. I think that on the daily here, we might just get a pullback. We've had a little bit of an extension here as I sort of measure, you know, up at this extended area. We've just come off. Do we have a little bit of, I suppose, what we would consider a sort of ABC corrective move? That's what we're kind of thinking. And maybe this is we sort of failed to make a new high. We just pop back down to this support, maybe 108, and then we continue up and try and make new highs. And that's really because we're just sort of losing momentum down here in our storyteller. I mean, this is a 1 hour chart, so less sort of long term. If we look at the 4 hour charts, then you know, you can see this little kind of loss of momentum here, and that sort of 1108, you know, really would be you know, a support zone to look for a new buy. So we'll see, you know, see what happens. Really, just expecting oil to just come back down maybe in the next day or so, but then to look for new buy signals. I mean, it is green, it is long on the daily and the weekly, and so you know, long side trades are our focus. Just another quick one for you, or let's have a quick look at the sort of dollar related pairs. Pound US dollar and the euro dollar. We were just looking for a little up move earlier in the week, and that's absolutely played out. But you know, generally on the longer term charts, they looks like this kind of weakness wants to continue in the dollar. We had a little bit of a sort of two wave on our storyteller here, just indicating we might get a pullback up into resistance, and that's where we've gone here. We've touched a first you know, moving average, the 8-period moving average here, and we've just come off of there. So really nice kind of free, what we would call a kind of free money trade, which is one of our strategies. You know, where we see first touch of resistance and the market pull down. So you know, it's been it was a nice little sort of pop up earlier in the week, bit of a day trade really. Euro dollar did something fairly similar. Let me just find this for you. Euro US dollar, you know, similar kind of move on the daily here. We had a little pop up, but it just does, you know, don't really want to fight as we look at this chart. So there's a few too many lines and drawings on this chart, but yeah, there's you know, really we are making lower lows and lower highs. So you know, waiting for the next red kind of sell signal on the daily just to continue the short side trade. I think longer term though, there is an argument to think that maybe are we slowing down on our short side in the euro dollar. We're right at a key kind of area here, and generally across probably the last 4, 5, 6 years, we've been in a sort of quite a sideways movement. So okay, it's a huge movement because we're talking about a monthly chart here, but yeah, if we do find some support and we do start to turn green, do we have another kind of wave pattern up again, and do this, and maybe we finally make some sort of new highs in the dollar, but that's a much longer term view. Right now it's red. PTS is telling us to be short, and so that's where we focus. So one to watch out for maybe in the coming months, but it definitely looks sort of to the downside. Quite an interesting one for you here, just quickly on the commodities. Commodities have all been fantastic to trade recently, very long and strong. We're looking at soybeans here now. Why I've started with a monthly chart is because we do have a small loss of momentum here on this monthly chart, and price is pushing up. Now it's pushing up, getting quite separated from our moving averages, which obviously you'll get from commodities. They really go on these big runs, but you can see I've got a alarm here up at this kind of round number 1800 sort of zone, and it's because we've had a previous high up here in 2012. I think I've spoken to you guys about this. So watching that, looking for long in soybeans, and seeing we may well get one of these lovely kind of double top drop, big sort of pullback in soybeans from this. It's 10 years ago that price hit this, and I'll give you a couple of examples. I played one recently in gold, in the gold market, where we had this sort of double top. Here was on this much shorter term, but it was a 2-year double top, 20075, and we just came right off after we hit that price. And looking for something similar in soybeans, we had it in natural gas as well, was another sort of commodity. So they're hugely bullish, getting just buy, long, all green on the charts. If we look at this natural gas, I think you can probably best see it on the weekly chart. And this is, I suppose, more akin to the soybeans. It was this top here that we were just a little shy of, and that was 2014. So an 8-year double top, and we just dropped absolutely barreled down on natural gas here. 3,000, 2.5, I think it's 3,000 pips it fell down. So real interesting area in that soybean chart. Quite a technical area, but it looked green and long up until that zone where we've started to get a bit of a divergence. So those are the things that I'm looking at the moment, and I hope that's really useful to you. Have a good rest of your day and happy trading.